All right, well, welcome. Today I'm talking with Kim Ades, who's the founder of both Frame of Mind Coaching and Journal Engine, which my clients will know is the foundation of all the work I do. So, Kim is really integral to my life, happiness, and success. So, Kim, thank you for being with us.
I am so excited to talk to you and see you in person, face to
Yeah,
face.
absolutely. So Kim and I have known each other for about 4 years, talk on the phone a lot, and this is the first time we've seen each other as most close to live as possible. So, Kim, I invited you because you're just a model of sort of the challenges that so many women face, in which you are in a situation where you have a lot of responsibility. You are a single mom with two kids, but you had an idea of a business that felt important for you to create. And you did that. So I'd love to hear a little bit about how you got the idea to start your own company and how you had the courage to go ahead and do it on your own terms.
Well, some people are just not meant for working for others. They're just not designed that way. It's not in their DNA. I'm one of those people. It's very, very hard for me to fit into other people's structures and expectations and time frames and philosophies and ideas of the world. So for me, uh, running my own business, like there was really no other option.
Uh-huh.
And I'll tell you an interesting story. Before I ran this particular business, um, I worked for a company for like I don't know, maybe 9 or 10 months, something like that. And it felt like I was imprisoned,
Mm-hmm.
to be completely
Mm-hmm.
honest. And when that came to a head, when it came time that it was over, I will never forget the feeling of leaving that building and that office, feeling complete and utter relief
Mm-hmm.
and contentment that I was out of that place.
Yeah.
Um, and so for me, it wasn't about how did I become an entrepreneur. It's, okay, so how do you live the life you are supposed to live or live the life you're meant to live without feeling like um, you can't handle it, you
Yeah.
can't do it, you can't measure up, and you can't succeed.
Mm-hmm.
So, really, that's the question. But for me, working for someone else was really just not a healthy or feasible option.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it seems like the work that you've decided to do is really important to you, that it's not like you just created a business because it was easy to do, but because there's something really meaningful behind it. So, what drives you in your particular business?
Well, there's a few things that drive me. Number one is that we coach people. So we coach a certain type of person. We coach highly driven people who really have three things in common. Number one is that they have big goals that they want to achieve. Number two is they want to make a difference in the world and have an impact.
Mm-hmm.
And number three is they have a commitment to living an extraordinary life. So that's our
Mm-hmm.
client.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I find is those people are really made up to make a big difference in the world and to leave an impact, but something slows them down.
Mm-hmm.
Something gets in their way. They get frustrated, they get annoyed, they get agitated, they get hard on themselves, they get hard on the people around them, and they often spin their wheels and live in a state of frustration and
Mm-hmm.
chaos. And so that excites me because when I can see great potential in someone, I just want to help them pave the way. And so for me, helping someone like that is exciting and interesting because I get to hang around them. I get
Yeah.
to work with other highly driven individuals who have big goals. And so that's who I want to spend my time with. The flip side of that is that um, every time I coach someone, I'm growing, I'm
Uh-huh.
stretching.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not only impacting their lives, but their lives are impacting me. And so I'm constantly in an environment and in conversation where there is a flow of influence and impact.
Mm-hmm.
Jessica, when I talk to you, you impact me. When I
Mm-hmm.
talk to you, I'm hoping that I'm leaving
Yes.
a positive mark on you as well. And so there's
Absolutely.
that flow, and
Mm-hmm.
and that flow, that exchange allows me to live an extraordinary life.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Yes, I love it's so clear that it's vibrant, that it's connected to you feeling more fully alive, and that you've decided to spend your days and your energy doing that is so inspiring.
Right.
So you are like a thought guru. And one of the things that a lot of women I work with or mothers who are watching this run into is that let's say they had one career before they became moms and put a lot into that. Maybe they're very successful corporate, even doctors. Then things shift in terms of what their priorities are, both in terms of how they spend their time and what creates meaning for them. And so there can be a lot of ways that we get in our own way, or fear that I'm not ready, that maybe I need to go get that certification, get that degree. I'm not qualified, I'm not expert enough. So what sort of things, what might you coach someone who's watching right now and is feeling like, yeah, but I don't know that I'm qualified, or maybe I'm not ready? What might you say to them?
So, you sent out an email a while ago, and I think the prominent word was bullshit in that email. And really what I'm trying to do is understand, what bullshit stories are you telling yourself that is getting in your way? What are you really believing that's causing you to slow down and kind of put a halt to going after the things that you really desire? So really, that's the conversation I want to have. And the way that we have it is we ask our clients to journal on a daily basis. And in the journal, what we do is we really assess how their thinking impacts their outcomes, how their thinking impacts their behavior, and how their thinking sometimes slows them down and interferes with their ability to live the life that they want to live. And so when you look at someone who maybe does have a great deal of experience and then stays home for a bit and then considers going back into the workforce, they have a set of ideas of what it takes to be qualified. They have a set of beliefs about the fact that they've been out of the game and that they're old and they're rusty and all of this. And all of those are inventions, they're beliefs. Somebody made that up. And so what we want to do is we want to challenge their beliefs. And if it's still really tough for them to do, one of the questions we do have for them is, okay, so fine, like what would a baby step be? How could you do this in a way that's manageable and comfortable for you, and then slowly grow into it? So if they say, well, I'm really feeling unqualified, okay, what do you feel qualified to do? And let's grow from there, but never let anything really truly be a barrier to their progress.
I love that. And I love that. I think that it's a shift for some women, especially when they become mothers, to feel like they might not have the ownership of that story, that they get to say what they're qualified to do, that power isn't external to them. And that's one of the things I love about your message, is that we can really show our kids that we can be our own agents and authors of that story.
Right. And the other thing is that life has changed, like the world has changed. And so qualifications are a funny thing. And what you just said is very important. It's who determines qualifications. So can you be a mom who suddenly decides to start a business? Sure. Are you qualified? Like, you know what, I've been running a business for 10 years. Am I qualified? There are lots of things in my business I don't know how to do. Does that disqualify me? No. It means that I get the right people and the right resources in place who can pick up the slack in those areas that I'm not strong at. And so do I need to be qualified at everything in order to march forward? I really don't. I need to be really clear about what I'm strong at and what my gift is, what I can contribute, and then supplement it with other qualified people or systems or things.
Awesome. So my next question is about what I call workability, like defining for yourself what is going to work for you. And I know that you, throughout this process, transitioned from being a single mom with 2 kids to marrying a man with 3 kids of his own, merging your families, growing your business in multiple levels. So how throughout that have you decided what to prioritize, what to stop doing, what to change?
Well, for me, from a work perspective, like just work-wise, I really am very clear at the things that are not in my strong suit. So, for example, I own a software company, but I don't do any programming and I don't deal with customer questions about how the system works. And so I give that to someone else who's responsible and able to do that. And so I'm very clear about what my strength is and I focus on that. And one of the things that I'm really determined to do in my company is become good at something and teach someone else to do it, so that I'm really just focusing on company growth and leadership. And so more and more, like I want to make myself obsolete. I don't need to be important here. I want to grow the business so that I don't need to be here on a day-to-day basis. And more, we're putting the pieces, the systems, the people in place in order for me not to be so important. On the other side of things, on the home front, you know, what I want to do is I want to be where I want to be when I want to be there. Right? So if my daughter says, for example, can you take me to an I want to volunteer, I want to make sure that I'm able to do that. That's super important to me.
Yeah.
And so I'm never ever feeling like I'm sacrificing my home life. Sometimes I get tired, there are long days, but I never ever feel like I'm sacrificing what's most important to me. Ever. So my schedule is flexible, my life is flexible. I can work the hours I want to work. I can not work some days, I can work long days some days. But the key here is I get to manage myself, my schedule, my priorities, my conversations, the way that I invest my life. It's in my hands.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's really, I think, the bottom line is that to feel like you have ownership of that if it's not working for you, you can change it into something that does.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, Kim, where can people learn more about you if they want to coach with you, learn to be coached, or get this awesome journal engine tool if they want to use it in their coaching?
So best way to find me is frameofmindcoaching.com. And for anyone who's listening and who's interested in learning a little bit more, there's an opportunity for a complimentary coaching call. And what we ask you to do is fill out a journaling worksheet where you get all kinds of questions and you get to answer that, and the coach coaches you on those worksheets.
Awesome. Great. Well, I recommend anybody do it. That's how I found Kim, and I've been a devotee ever since. So, Kim, thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure. It's so good to see you in person.
Yeah, you too.